Good afternoon, Laura. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Good afternoon, Inam.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Owen. All right. So we're here today to discuss cake wars.
Cakes and passing off. Yeah.
What do you know about cake wars, Laura?
As far as I'm aware, there's been an ongoing battle between Marks and Spencer's and Aldi. Marks and Spencer's had their own version of Colin the Caterpillar. Colin the Caterpillar, the cake, and Aldi decided to essentially steal that idea with their very own Cuthbert, I believe it is. Releasing Cuthbert.
And it's quite similar. If you look at them both without any branding, could you identify, would you think, oh, that's Marx's cake, or oh, that's similar to Cuthbert?
You know what, I actually looked last year, and it's very hard to tell. And there's also, I mean, you've got Tesco, who have Curly the Caterpillar.
No way.
Asda has Clyde the Caterpillar. Waitrose has Cecil, and Sainsbury's. I mean, they've gone for Wiggles. They didn't want to join in with the C's, but
Lawdit has Coil the Caterpillar. No, that's terrible. So, Owen, hello.
Hi.
Hi. A deal has been done apparently, Marks and Spencer's and Aldi. Why would that be? As opposed to, sorry to talk over you, as opposed to when you're walking down Aldi or Lidl, it's just every brand is a copycat. So why this one?
Well, it just would be on the strength of their case when they first kind of did a cease and desist letter. They probably ascertained that they had strong goodwill and reputation attached to the Caterpillar, that it's a clear misrepresentation of the Caterpillar, which would lead general public to be confused and assume that it is Colin the Caterpillar, and that would obviously result in damages
and it must
form of loss.
And it must be important to Marks then, because it's obviously a big seller. I mean, every time it's someone's birthday, we buy a Colin, don't we?
I think sometimes it has been a Cuthbert.
Really?
But just don't tell Marks.
Or the person who believed it was a Colin Caterpillar. Yeah. Because we've actually bought people here Colin cakes, but we've also bought Cuthbert. So the person who gets a Cuthbert isn't as valued as the person who got the Colin.
I knew it.
Just a thought. So presumably Marks and Spencer's have stopped Aldi via a confidential settlement agreement, because we don't know what the terms are, and they've done so because it was a big seller, and a line's been drawn in the sand. Enough is enough. But I suspect not. I suspect it will continue. So to those brand holders and rights owners, what would you recommend to sort of create and to promote a brand? What we often talk to people about is that you have the unregistered elements, which is Cuthbert and Colin, the Caterpillar. It's the type of goodwill you've generated over a period of time, and you're relying on your sales, your marketing, your advertising, and you got to show people that you've been a real, you've got a sizable bit of goodwill, and this person's come and sought to feed off that goodwill. That's passing off. But it's expensive. So we jump to the other side of the equation, and you have a registered right, which sort of which you connect the two together. The registered on the unregistered always go together, unless you don't have a registered right. But where you have a registered right, it comes with the passing off. And so a registered right would be
a trademark.
So we don't know if Colin the Caterpillar was trademarked. We presume it was.
What I'm seeing here in front of me is that M&S had a trademark registered for the phrase Colin the Caterpillar.
There you go. So in the absence of a trademark, it would have to rely on the passing off. With a trademark, it will be relying on whether or not there is a likelihood of confusion. And combined with the passing off, the number of years it's been going, the number of sales, the number of associations that consumers have with that product and the organisation, all led to the conclusion that Aldi would get heavily defeated in the court. So they would be considerably out of pocket, 6 figures, if not more, and they would be ordered to pay compensation, damages, and some form of royalty going forward, perhaps. So it all makes sense as to why a deal was done. But interestingly, we're going to try and run, every time we see if we can ask you both to watch out for Twitter. Every time we see anything in Aldi and Lidl, which is quite a similar brand, we're going to tweet it, aren't we, guys?
Yes.
We're very excited. Don't you just love the enthusiasm? But yes, and so I think that's about it for Cake Wars, really. Anybody else? Oh my goodness, what's that? So on the UK IPO, we've seen how many would you say there are there?
There's at least 13 marks.
13 marks that Marks and Spencer have filed for good old Colin.
Ranging from 2008 to 2021.
2008 to 2021. So clearly, M&S did have a sizable portfolio when it came to their registered trademarks. So registered trademarks are the way forward. Unregistered rights are very important and valuable too. But the way forward is to secure your assets and get a trademark. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Inam. Bye.